The e-bike shortages are getting worse, and here is the reason. It's you. Why do you want something you can't have? Just kidding. By the way, subscribe if you haven't already and hit the bell to be alerted when I post my next video. Now back to the question at hand. The increase in e-bike prices over the past year shouldn't surprise you. Everything increases in price. There are a lot of you wondering what's going to happen with e-bike prices as we move into the next year or two. Will e-bike brands finally catch up and bring in the inventory necessary to stabilize pricing? Or maybe even see those prices come down? Is this chaos just going to continue? E-bikes will skyrocket to the moon. So let's talk about what's going on, what you can expect from e-bike prices in 2022, and if you will have to refinance your home to buy that e-bike. That's what you've been dreaming about. Let's hope it doesn't come to that. We'll dive into all the details in the coming weeks. Let's get started. Let's take a look at what's been happening and why e-bike prices have been rising over the last 12 months. The number one reason why e-bike prices have been going up over the last 12 months is that demand has skyrocketed. People weren't able to take vacations when COVID increased disposable income. Since they had planned, they weren't able to eat out. Usually they do. People had more disposable income and could buy new toys, including bicycles. And because of lockdowns and remote working, many were looking out for reasons to get outside and stay healthy. Overall, COVID caused people to reevaluate their health and wealth. E-bike riding is part of many people's journey to living a healthier lifestyle. All of these factors resulted in unprecedented demand, which, as we all know, increases prices. Aside from increased demand, material costs have also increased. Everything from aluminum to rubber to even the cardboard box that the e-bike comes in have increased in cost over the last year. The third factor that has contributed to increased prices over the last year or so is low supply. When it comes to supply, there is a good chance they have very little inventory last year and didn't have what you needed. COVID first hit factories when they were forced to close. As soon as the factories were able to reopen, new COVID protocols required a reduction in their workforce. Additionally, e-bike brands weren't sure how the pandemic would unfold and how it would affect sales. As a result, they cut their orders and reduced their product offerings in order to survive. You're probably thinking, why don't they just increase their production now? It has, but the challenge is that every other industry has also increased production at the same rate and at the same time, resulting in bottlenecks in material availability and shipping container availability. It is even causing a bottleneck at the ports, where all this product needs to go. To consumers, how will e-bike prices change over the next year or two? That seems likely. Unfortunately, the trend of rising prices of raw materials is expected to continue in the near future. Potentially the one that has had the biggest impact on the e-bike. Aluminum prices have gone up. Aluminum prices are increasing for an interesting reason. Guinea, a Western African country, is the second largest exporter of bauxites, which are needed to make aluminum. In Guinea, a military coup overthrew the government on September 5th. Although they claim to be taking over the government to work against corruption and poverty in their country, in the short term, this has thrown the exports of bauxites into the unknown. Immediately after they took over the government, we saw aluminum prices spike to the highest level since 2008. Aluminum hit its peak price on October 11th, just over $3,100. Since then, the price has slowly returned to the $2,500 range, but nowhere near the $1,500 to $1,900 price range it was at in 2000. Second, the cost of labor continues to rise worldwide, and not just in the United States. In Taiwan, most e-bike parts and bicycles are manufactured just recently as well. Taiwan has also increased its minimum wage, which inherently increases the cost of bicycle production. As if these cost increases weren't enough, shipping costs have also skyrocketed in the past year. As of this video, container shipping prices between Asia and the United States remain near an all-time high. Despite a slight decline in the last couple of weeks, it is still about 250% higher than the same week a year ago. Fourth, fleet times do not appear to be improving anytime soon. E-bike brands are not only having difficulty getting raw materials to make their frames, but they're also having trouble getting the parts they need to assemble those e-bikes. Consequently, there is a continued supply bottleneck, which inherently puts upward pressure on prices. Worst of all, the delays, the lack of availability. And the rising prices we've been seeing have led a lot of people to delay buying that new e-bike. The result is that demand has risen dramatically. Now you're probably thinking you're screwed as you're considering buying a new e-bike. But hold on, it's not so bad. Consider it from a different perspective. It may seem like you'll have to sell one of your kidneys on the black market in order to buy that e-bike you've been dreaming of. Let's take a look at a little angle before we go out and do that. To begin with, the economy is already showing signs of slowing down. There are signs of a slowdown in consumer spending and a cooling of the real estate market. As a result, all consumer goods are priced lower. Secondly, we have seen e-bike brands construct new manufacturing facilities to increase their production capacity. This will definitely increase the availability of e-bikes in the coming year. Third, lead times are expected to improve over the next year. Most e-bike brands have been struggling to get the parts they need to assemble the e-bikes, but most of those brands for drivetrain and suspension and tires have also increased their production, which is allowing e-bike brands to increase their business, deliver the e-bikes they need to the market. Do we need to panic? My guess is that it's not true, but it's a pretty safe assumption. It's going to be a tough year for e-bike prices. Therefore, if you have your heart set on a certain e-bike and it's available now, might be a good time to buy it. But I don't think e-bike prices will increase by 20 or 30 or 40% or anything crazy like that. There will only be small incremental increases. As inflation continues to happen overnight, we'll see price increases on all consumer goods. So thanks for stopping by and please subscribe. Let me know what you think. Give me a thumbs up as well. I'll see you on your new e-bike soon.